I stand between you and the drinks, right? Is that what? I knew that, because I've been in your place many times. Can y'all hear me? I never stand behind the podium, I walk around, so. Okay, so, can I see all that? Am I gonna mess you up, camera lady? Okay, great. Real quick, who do we have here? We've landscape people, okay, greenhouse people, nursery people, sports turf people, people who don't need pesticide credits, because they're all in the next room over there. Good. Who did I miss? Who did I miss? Groups. Okay, so we got a nice garden writer. Excellent. I was just talking to, I just did an email with some of the garden writer people this morning about this problem. Question is, 3 years ago, how many people were growing impatiens? Raise your hands. Regular old plain old impatiens. Now, okay, so now how many people got the disease, this disease? Anybody get the disease? Okay, so how many people are now no longer growing impatiens at all? Raise your hands. Okay, so there's some impatiens you can grow, so we're going to talk about this. Okay, so here we go. If my clicker works, we're going to be good. I got to turn it on. We're good. All right. So first, thanks to all these folks. I beg pictures, all kinds of stuff from these folks to make it up to date and keep it going. We're going to talk about an overview of the Impatiens Downy Mildew, some site modifications you can do, alternative plant criterias, what are the alternatives that we're doing, some of the alternative plants that we're growing. But this is what we all love, isn't it? This is what it's all about. And unfortunately, those days for most of us are gone. You guys are kind of in a little bubble, but it kind of crept its way a couple years ago, so it's not quite as good as it used to be. But that's, we love this, right? And there's really no plant out there at this point in the impatient world that can match all the colors. They're getting there. The breeders are working feverishly on this, so whichever breeder gets there first makes all the money. So they're feverishly working, and what's been really cool is I've been able to go to like the ball trials in Chicago. Anyone's ever been there? Well, every now and then they say, come back and see Area 51, is what they call it. So it's all behind the scenes, and they show you all the stuff. You can't take pictures, you can't take samples. So it's a lot of fun visiting those areas. It's just spectacular, right? Wouldn't you love to have crepe myrtles here, right? You don't have any crepes out here, right? I'm from Pennsylvania, so you gotta remember that. So that's what impatient downy mildew does. Kills everything within 30 days. And by the time you know you have it, it's too late, right? This is where it started, 2011. It was first kind of found primarily in Florida. And New York was quite bad out on the island, quite bad. In fact, Long Island has a particularly strong strain that kills it even more quickly. Then it's kind of spread through the country. 2012, spread even further. Except you guys. You guys were kind of, a little protected out here for some reason. And then 2014, or 2013 here, as of June 9th, and it's all kind of changing. You can see it goes through here. So as of October 4th, 2013, it's out here, right? 2014, we're using less of this. Pathogens well established all over the place. Now we're finding some subdue max resistance, so it's a fungicide that you could use to stop this disease. We're finding some resistance out there. And basically, for most of us landscape type folks, we don't want to spray. We want to put the plants in and we want them to just grow and thrive. Our company, I get to order a lot of flowers. That's another part of my job. We used to order about 100,000 flats of impatiens across the country. We went down to essentially 0 in 1 year. So it was quite an interesting conversation having it with our seed suppliers. This is the pathogen, and it's a water mold, so it moves with the water and it can move with the wind, which is the problem. So it's going to produce aerospores, the sporangias, and also contains swimming spores, the zoospores. And if you've ever seen this disease, you just flip over the leaves and it's all there. Real easy to see. And basically it starts, it gets dispersed, works a circle, and these oospores are produced, which go into the soil. And this is kind of the real concern, is how long do they survive? And it's not really quite known at this point. We'll have a little bit more information on, but basically it goes through the whole cycle. God bless you. So are there any specialized protections, risks to stop the reinfection? Basically, if you have, God bless you. So basically, if you have dead plant material, you want to get it out of the bed, and you don't want to compost it. So we want to throw this stuff, bag it up, and get it off site and into the trash, into the landfill cycle. These oospores, how long are they going to live? We don't really know at this point. But when they start looking at the sunflower downy mildew, they're saying that that's lasting for 8 to 10 years in the soil. Okay, so it could be a problem, right, for us. If we have cold weather, is that going to kill it? Well, they're not really sure, So the other problem is if you've got greenhouses or homes that keep these plants over winter, and they've got this disease and they put it outside, the stuff can now fly around and reinfect the good plants. So, there's always that favored plant that's stuck around the neighborhood. What is susceptible? So the Walleriana is susceptible, and anything's crossed with the blood, and also the old-fashioned balsam, the balsams, you know what I'm talking about, the old-fashioned balsams, later slippers, I think they used to call them. So that's what's susceptible. What is not susceptible are the New Guinea impatiens, which are great. Both the seed type and the vegetative are resistant. And tomorrow when you go, there's a bunch of vendors who are going to be here. Go check out all their booths, get all the information. They got a lot of great stuff. So what are you guys using? Sun Impatiens? Yes, raise your hands. Sun Impatiens, okay. Anyone using Divines? Okay, Divines are from seed, so they're a little cheaper. How about the Celebrates or Celebrations? All right, the same hands are going up. This is great. Fanfares? Okay, more fanfares. Sonic or Supersonics? Okay, good. So good. And for your area, you tend to like what you like. It's just the way it works. You try a couple things, and this works, so that's what you do. Are other plants susceptible? Yes, they are, but it's a different species. Okay, so we don't have to worry about that. How's it get moved around? Basically, the young plants. So the growers, it's coming out of there, or old stock and old greenhouses, and it gets moved around. But from the greenhouses is where it's coming. And again, it moves by wind or rain, so it's very easily transmitted. It can be transmitted on us as well as we move around from job to job. So managing risk basically is if you have it or if you've had it in the past, don't plant Impatiens. You can try it. Some folks, the second year after we had it, they put them back in. They made it till about August, and then the whole bed's collapsed. So for us, it's not, from a customer relationship standpoint, it's not worth it. It's not worth it to, middle of the flower season and your flowers all die, it's not worth doing this. Go to the resistant things or the alternatives that we'll talk about, okay? What are the greenhouses doing? Basically, they're trying to keep them as clean as much, and also they're going to hit them with a preventative fungicide. So in the past, last year, a lot of the greenhouses basically cut out or greatly reduced impatient availability of the old-fashioned seed impatient, yes? You can still get it because the homeowners are coming in, they want to buy it, and they're going to buy it. So there's been some big feuds in the green industry about was this ethically right to do. A lot of the greenhouses now this year have actually increased their productions of the impatiens. So we'll see what happens. So they're trying to come back, but it's still going to be a bit of that. So what can we do? Basically don't plant, buy from reputable buyers, inspect the plant material, use fungicides, right? And this is down in Florida. And if you put a fungicide on there, it will control the disease. But how many people want to go out there and spray every 7 to 14 days? Not me. Not me, right? Not me. And they're doing all kinds of tests. So the chemical companies are out there are proving that they can control it and they can sell you their product, and that's great, fine. If you have some clients that absolutely insist that they have to have this particular color of impatient, so you can do that. But there are a lot of other alternatives, even in the impatient world, that will fill the bill, right? So we talk about site modification. You know, we had something called Hurricane Sandy come through the East Coast, and a couple trees came down. We'll show you a little bit about that, right? Tree elevations, perennials, and go into other plant material instead of annual flowers or impatiens, right? So this was Lehigh University. Nice 100-year-old tree came down in Sandy, and it opened up a once shaded impatient garden to a full sun area. So think about that. We have a lot of entrances that have big, beautiful trees. You know, maybe we can elevate the trees. There's some trees that are bad, but maybe you take out trees. But maybe it's just elevating the trees to get a little more sunlight in there so that other plants can grow. Real simple things like that we can do horticulturally. You know, going to perennials. We have a lot of our clients that have basically said, you know, the annuals are beautiful, but they cost money every year, and we got to keep doing that. So they've shifted over to more perennials, low-flowering shrubs. You guys have the same thing going on here? So it's a more expensive installation to start with. I'm not saying necessarily lower maintenance, but it gives you a different result, and it makes them feel more green, so to speak, you know. I still think annuals are very green because we're recycling and creating beauty. So the astilbes here are just spectacular. You know, astilbe pumila, do you guys use some astilbe out here? This is, if you're not using this particular astilbe pumila, you're crazy. This is the best one out there. It'll bloom all summer long for you. It only comes in 1 or 2 colors, but really a tough, easy-growing plant. Again, hostas, ferns, all those kind of things for shaded conditions instead of doing annual flowers. Yes? Astilbe pumila. Astilbe, A-S-T-I-L-B-E-E-P-U-M-U-L-A. Am I close? I'm not a great speller, so. So ferns, you know, for shady areas, again, ferns, hostas, you have all this stuff out here, I'm assuming, in the right conditions? I know you've got all this. So Anthony Water spireas, little princess spireas, neon flash spireas, these are all great. They bloom all summer long. Come this time of year, you cut them down to 6 inches. You let them regrow and bloom. Next January, you cut them down to 6 inches, and they grow and rebloom, and that's all you have to do to them. It's fantastic, right? Same thing with a lot of the roses. So the carpet roses, using carpet roses out here, knockout roses, Medellin roses, all those kind of things. Great plants. You guys have some kind of rose borer, I've heard, so you don't prune them down till later in the season. Is that right? Am I right? Okay, good information here. But roses are great. They bloom all summer long, especially the knockouts, right? Here are your knockouts. And other great plants. You don't have all these, but I know you do have the spirea, the snowmount spireas in the springtime. Hydrangeas, not as many hydrangeas out here, but they're spectacular. Don't you wish we were all there today? This is in Freehold, New Jersey, looking at the beautiful, very expensive yachts. We take care of all this property. You know, just going to a plain old ground cover sometimes is the answer. This is Liriope, but there's lots of other great ground covers that you can use. Okay, so this is why you're really here. It's like, okay, what's my criteria for other plants? My criteria are, it's got to be immune to the Downy Mildew disease. I'm not planting those other ones at this point, right? I'm not spraying fungicides. I want low maintenance, and I want a lot of color, because that's what our customers are paying for. They want color. Right? So these are some of the things we're using. You guys have been using these for years as well. There's some other things we're talking about. But I'll show you a lot of pretty pictures. So begonias are great, right? Begonias are great. What's different about these begonias? They might be different than your begonias. You notice how uniform they are? You ever see the lumpy, I call them the lumpy begonias? They grow all different. So guess what we do with our begonias? We prune them. So they're nice and uniform, look beautiful this way. Okay? You can do it with your hands, you can do it with head shears, right? What do you think? Nice, uniform, beautiful, smooth. Okay? Didn't hear it from me though. Don't say the guy from Brickman told me that. Okay? It's on tape, though. That's the problem. Color combinations. You guys are using the big begonias? Big, right? Dragon wings. Using the whoppers, some of those. Dragon wings are great, you know. Are you using a helenium? Are you using any helenium? I see a quizzical look out there. I think I'm going to talk more about this one, but this is a fantastic plant, and it's perfect for your environment out here. Yellow, it gets exactly 1.5 feet tall, blooms all summer long. It could be a little seedy. It could seed itself. Helenium, this was called Dakota Gold. Great plant, should be used more. Easy to grow. You're using it, lady in red over here? Yes, she says. Begonias in containers, dragon wings, do something like this. It's kind of funky with the alocasias and the ligularias, the yellow on the ground there. You know, lots of begonias, lots of begonias. They need to be irrigated. That's the only problem, right? You guys have a lot of irrigated sites? I guess they've always told me it's either irrigated or dead in Denver, right? Is that the way it works here? That's about right. Santa Cruz, this is a Bonari product. So again, a great plant to grow in containers for hanging. Rieger begonias, we don't use these very often, but they are spectacular and come in a really wide range of colors. Pretty expensive. The whoppers, so these whoppers are going to get about this tall. If you've never grown a begonia this big, it's crazy. Don't put these in front of the little signs, you know. Okay, begonias. Any questions about begonias? We're good? We're all doing that? Okay. What spacing are you planting them on? How far apart? 6 to 8, I'm hearing? 8 to 10? What size pots are you guys using? 6-inch pots? 3.5-inch pots? 48s, the little market packs? What are you guys using? 3.5. So 3.5 is pretty good. That gives you a nice big plant to start, gives you a lot of color right away and fills in. These are divine impatiens. The divine impatiens are a combination of they have the New Guinea impatient blood in them. Okay, so they're resistant to the downy mildew, and they're from seeds, so they're cheaper than the vegetative forms, about half the price. Okay, so if you need impatiens, they've got a nice color range. It's still not the total color range like a super elfin. They're beautiful. They're pretty nice. You know, they're nice color range, and you don't have to spray them. Okay, so these are the Merlot mix. Okay, sun patience. Who's growing sun patience? A bunch of you guys are doing this. Great plant. So you can see top right, June, August, September, October. These things become monsters. There's a regular series and there's a compact series. Use the compact series. Although out here, because you got a lot of stress with the winds and the heat, do you guys use the compact series or use the bigger one? Compact series? Compact? Compact. Everybody says compact. Okay, good. It's compact. Great plant. You almost have to prune them back a little bit. They get so big and growthy. But the great plants come in a wide range of colors. They also have some variegated foliage that you can use them with there as well. Pretty striking, you know, combinations here. There's a new series out. We trialed this year. I got some plants called the Bounce series. So again, this is an intergeneric hybrid cross. So it's got a little bit of a couple different things in there. And these are the colors that they have for this year. So they're quite nice. The colors are pretty brilliant. The flower is supposed to look like the old-fashioned impatient flower. I'm not sure if it does or not. Sir?
For the sun patients, I was wondering if anybody here in the region grew any last year. We had quite a few, sold them, we all grew them, and they were just an absolute total failure.
Really?
Yeah.
You have to water them. They want to be in the full sun, but you must water them.
They were having real trouble with the sun, I know that.
Yeah, so they were getting scorched? In full sun. Okay, they want it warm and dry. And the other big thing is soil prep. If you're not preparing your soil 8 to 10 inches deep and really tilling that soil, adding soil amendments to do it right, you know, they're not going to do well. You've got to prep this. If you're just jamming them in dirt, they're not going to grow. You got to take care of them.
1 year I fertilized them, maybe 2 years or 2 months in the growing season.
Yep. It's possible, you know, if you do the whole process and fertilize and do it, they should be good. I mean, they normally just take off. And they like it warm, so and they have to be irrigated. If they're not irrigated, they're not going to make it. They're just like a regular impatient. They need water. So bounce are great. Try them out. See what you think. This is what they look like in production. They have more flowers than the sun patients. This was my backyard. Big flowers. Sweet potato vine? Anyone using sweet potato vine? Okay, great plant. You know, it'll grow shady, it'll grow full sun. Put it in the ground, keep it trimmed. They have some more of the compact varieties now, so they're not as growthy. Works out really well. Containers. Coleus, anyone doing coleus out here? Okay, so we got sun coleus and shade coleus. You know, all different varieties that are out there. Have fun with them. Some people say that this is not color, right? You'll have some clients that don't want this, so you better talk to your clients and show them pictures of this, because, you know, some clients say, that's not color. There are, you know, vegetative varieties. Using the redhead and the wasabi together are unbelievable combination. So if you haven't done that, try that. Again, just putting out a mix. This looks really cool. Okay. These are some of the things we're testing. So Browalias, Torinias, Hypoestes, Caladiums, shade-tolerant vinca, ferns, foliage, and silks. Okay. Yeah, they'll survive. Absolutely, absolutely. Browalia, is anyone using Browalia? It's a great plant. Underused plant, comes in blue and white, blooms its head off all summer long, loves a shady. It'll even take like a dry shade if you give it a little bit of water. Great plant in containers. Beautiful, beautiful color. And if you take care of IBM, it's exactly the IBM color. Browalia. First one up there. Torinia, anyone using the Torinias? Okay, you like them in the landscape?
They're actually a really good dry shade.
Okay. Okay, good. The colors, some of the colors are a little dark, so you have to be careful. So you want to go with the brighter colors in the dark areas, or a white. The flowers aren't gigantic, but if you're stretched for something, it's a nice alternative. So try this out. Try this in containers, in particular, in shady situations. What's that? Hanging baskets, because they've got the new varieties that are actually the hanging types. So they're great on the ground. You can put them on the ground and they'll run, or on a container along the sides. So it's a really great plant. Hypoestes, again, we got to get, who are you guys back there? Okay. I want your catalog. So Hypoestes, great plants, basically white and pink varieties, heavy shade. They need to be watered, you know, keep them watered, keep them trimmed. Relatively slow growing plant. Nothing's going to go crazy or get out of control for you, but it's nice in containers. Caladiums, again, they need water. They need the shade. They need some protection. So you got to, and no wind, you know, just a little more protection. But they are beautiful in the plantings, especially overhang type situations where it's really dark and you can keep them nicely watered. They get a little protection from the environment. They look beautiful. You know, something like this is beautiful with a little lotus vine here. Okay, the breeders, this is the big secret. The breeders are working on shade-tolerant vinca right now. So it's going to be really cool. Probably within the next 5 years, you're going to see it come out. And then what you can do is you can mix your vincas and your impatiens together, color matches, so it'll be really cool again. Ferns. Anyone using ferns? This is Kimberly Queen fern. We get 10-inch pots in the beginning of the season. We put one pot in a container, 36-inch container, and that's what it looks like in August. They grow like weeds. They take full sun, they take full shade, they go down to 28 degrees. So you can have them, for the whole season, even almost to the holidays, displays at your properties. Kimberly Queen. That's in Ohio. Okay, so not in Colorado, it won't take full sun, but it'll take shade. Okay. These aren't my favorite. These are I call these the black holes. Like all the color goes in and nothing comes back out. But in a really bright landscape, if you had lots of concrete, white macadam concrete or a bright landscape, some of these Alternithera or Israenis will look really nice. And they grow like weeds. They grow like weeds out here? Yes. Okay, they say yes. Good. So some people like them, some people don't like them. I'm on the, don't use them a whole lot. Worst comes to worst, guys, you go to silk, right? And there are beautiful silk plants. You guys have deer problems out here? Yeah, so we've had situations where the deer are so bad that we literally install silk flowers in the landscape. Now, that has to be from to the back of the wall or along the wall over here. You can't be walking by it because you can tell that they're artificial. But if you get good silks, you put them in the landscape, it solves the problem. Same thing under the overhangs for hotels and places like that where they want to have that container and they want to have that nice evergreen that never gets watered, right? And they dump all the coffee in the morning, right? And the cigarette butts go in there. Go buy these beautiful artificials. I mean, they look real. They're very expensive, but you don't have to worry about them. Just have to wash them off, once a month and you're done. It's great. So a lot of good things to do.